Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast. Today we're going to be reviewing the Choices book, Save the Date. So if you haven't read the book yet, go ahead, give it a try. Because take it from me, I hadn't read it some time ago, but when I read it, tell you what, this book is one of the best book in Choices. And if you have read it and you're wondering why I'm telling so, I'm going to be explaining the reasons in the coming minutes. First thing first, let's talk about one of the unique features that stood out to me about this book. And I think as of now, there are only two books in Choices that have the same feature. And the books are My Two First Loves and, of course, Save the Date. And you guessed it, this is first person writing or explanation, the storytelling. When you have just something is being described, this is happening, you go there. I think that is definitely good, but when you have first person explanation, it gives a different essence to the book. By essence, I mean it adds a poetic value, like a poem. It's like a poetry in motion. So that's why it gives a lot of poetic value to that particular book when it is written in first person. That's my thought. Let me know in the comment section what do you guys think about it. But it really strikes differently than the other books. The second thing, the Save the Date. Basically, let me just say how the story starts. We are basically at our friend Allison and Sam's wedding. Allison is our friend, and we basically have planned this wedding. We're having the moment there, and we meet our potential love interest there. We are the maid of honor, and the best man, Justin, who is our love interest. And the CEO, this book is classified as a CEO romance book. So Justin is the main love interest of this book. We also meet Simon, who is our another love interest, and he is now a journalist, and we have known them since 5th grade, as far as I remember. Basically, in the first chapter, we go through the wedding. We're happy for Allison and Sam. We have some moment with mainly Justin, a little bit with Simon, and then what we do, we are not wedding planner at the very first of this book, but at the beginning of this book, but we work as an accountant and we meet their Ed, our jerk boss, and Ed basically takes credit for the work of his employee, and that basically includes our main character also. We stand up for ourselves when we see our company is having a new CEO, and that is Justin, with whom we just made out the last night, I guess. Then we really show what Ed is in front of. We expose Ed in front of Justin, but here's the little twist in it. Though the way we defended ourselves, Justin at first thought we're totally unprofessional. Now we're going to talk about Justin more, but that's the main point of view here. Like after this, the story changes and sort of Justin fires us with Ed also. Ed just got fired because he was not doing anything right. He was just stealing his employees' works. But we get fired too because we're unprofessional according to Justin. And we formerly meet Nora and Monica in Allison's wedding. Nora is Justin's sister. They're gonna get married and they needed a wedding planner. At first we said no because we had another job, but now we're out of job and we need to get back to Justin. So at first, sort of seek revenge on Justin, we take the job. Now, first thing first, I will discuss more about Justin when I talk about the love interest. But one thing I want to say quickly is that this book is an exception because nowadays, if this book were to release now, a book with his name CEO in it, well, it would have started with hookup scenes. But this book was really exceptional and it was story-based book rather than just a smut story. I really like that. Totally story. Now, the first thing first, we take the wedding planning job for Nora and Monica, and there we see Justin and we're angry with Justin. Justin's angry with us. First off, this sort of, I don't know what you would call it, a slow burn, but this sort of thing this sort of concept, I think that there is anger, you have disagreement and anger, and from there the attraction and love bonds between you two. So that sort of really worked between Justin and our main character, and in the process we are not only the wedding planner of Justin and no I'm sorry, Nora and Monica, but we plan wedding for other lots of couples. And that's the most important part. Also, you get this saying, you get to have all the photos of the happy couples, and you will get a special scene at the end of the book. That was really awesome. But more than the special scene, what I think stood out, the diversity. This story, so let me tell you this shortly and then I'll go to the love interests. Any story is about just one topic, but when I played Save the Date, it felt like I'm not just reading just one story, but there are lots of stories inside one story. It's not just about Nora and Monica, but it's about those Shakespeare loving couple. It's about those zookeepers who got married in a zoo. It's about those old people who got married in a school, in a high school, in a 40th theme. They were a thing back in high school in 40s, but they found each other after so long time. It is really cute, all the story, every single, and the representation, sort of the diversity we see in marriage. It's also really awesome, and different story, different background, we help them get together. So we literally, the name is Save the Date, we literally save, like saving their days in lots of occasions using diamond scenes. There is this Allegra or someone, her groom said he had a disagreement with the bride's mom. We solve it, we get their picture. This is one hell of a book. Now, coming to the love interests, we have mainly three love interests. Main two love interests are Justin, Simon, and then we have Lindsay. Justin is the main love interest, as I said, the CEO book. The main story revolves around Justin, but we also have equal amount of Simon, equal amount of Lindsay. Specifically at the end, you have your free choice who you want to choose at the end. Justin's love interest. So, what kind of love interest is Justin? Well, Justin, if it were one love interest book, it would have been also pretty successful, I would have said, because it's like the mismatch books Jack, I think, or Jake. The same character, the same sort of character is played by Justin here, or Justin is the same sort of character here. Justin at first, he really he's a workaholic at first thing first, and he's super professional. He talks about this. So Justin is sort of how I perceived him, as a coconut. Like, he has this really hard outer shell, but when you crack it, you go inside, it's really soft. You also know he's workaholic also because he wanted to follow his father's footsteps. He wanted to carry his father's visions because he thought he's the only one. Nora can't do it because Nora is following her dreams. So sort of Justin lost his dreams in the way, and he's just a workaholic person. And Justin wants to do things his way at first, and he puts on this. He hates our main character. But we get the scene. Justin and our main character disagrees. We disagree, but Justin wants to kiss us, and that was, I would say, that was a really creative moment because I like stories like that. So it was super awesome. And well, if Justin were gender customizable, I wouldn't have minded that either, but we had other options in this book, so yeah. But yeah, I'm just going for this one love interest book. It would have been pretty successful too. Now, but at the end, we see Justin is there for us, our ex-fiance who left us at the altar after hearing about them, and we meet them later with the girl with whom our ex dumped us at the altar. We have this various scenes, we have various fights with them, arguments. They're just picking on us, we stand out for them. Justin at first still thinks we're being immature, amateur, And but when we tell the story, Justin is really empathetic and sympathetic about us. That's a really good thing, and we get to date Justin at the end. It was super awesome. And then the other love interest is Simon. Now, Justin is one kind of love interest, and Simon is another kind of. Now, I don't know about you guys if you have played this, but I found a lot of similarity between Simon and Lindsay. Justin is completely a different kind of Eli with different set of characteristics, but I found a lot of similarities between Justin and Lindsay. First thing first, let's talk about Justin. Justin is working for a journalist, so also one thing to mention before I start with Justin, all the love interest they developed, they grew in the span of the this book. We see Justin, he was a little arrogant at first. I wouldn't say arrogant, but he had his own limitations. He thought he just knows what the good thing is and all professional. But we help him to ease, we help him to relax, and well, with agreement, with disagreement, everything turns well. We and Justin get closer, and we sort of make them look at the world differently. He then, if you play some Dimension, you will know. At first, in his company, there was no dating policy, but he changes that, and that because of our main character. So when the book ends, Justin is completely a different, not completely, but he changed for good, and all the, like they had that thing in themselves, but they're not showing it or they're not capable of showing it. But our main character just helps them, gives them the nudge they needed to grow to their full potential, to be the best of them, and that applies for Simon and that applies for Lindsay too. Let's talk about Simon a little bit. Simon, we've known Simon since our 5th grade, and Simon is a sweetheart, to be honest. Allison literally pushes us together. We go to Allison's apartment and see Simon is there, so that's the start. But Simon is a really cute guy, and well, he's really simple, and he's described as by our main character as a nerd also at various points. He's a journalist. He's not happy with what he is doing. Fidget spinners are still cool or not cool with kids. He wrote an article, but he's not happy about it. He wants to go in criminal investigation and stuff like that. He wants to be a criminal journalist. But later we help him, and he also gets help from our main character to find out what he is best at, and he's best at what he's doing, not at criminal reporting. And he also reports for Nora and Monica's wedding. We get together really well, and again, at the end of the book, Simon is a completely different person with lots of confidence, and our main character helped him. Lindsay, I personally, I really liked the love interest Lindsay. At first, she was really nervous and everything. Throughout the book, she's been that, but our main character, the bonding of Lindsay and our main character, how our main character helps Lindsay to grow to her full potential, and how we work together in terms of business and in our personal relations. And specifically, I played the last, so this is also important thing, as I said. It was not a book with straight up hookup scenes, but it focused on the story mainly and really subtle romance. I really like book like these rather than book where you get romance like hookup scenes from the very first. It kills the story sort of. It's more of a smudge story. You can like it or you can lump it. But this book is really awesome. So if you played the last diamond scene, the 30 diamonds hookup scene with Lindsay, you would explore, you would see a different Lindsay even at the end of the book if you have collected all the photos of all the people. So that's something really interesting. I personally like this book. All the main character, all the love interests are super awesome. I personally liked Lindsay, but it was really awesome to get to know the every diamond scene, to play every diamond scene with every love interest, be it Justin, be it Simon, be it specifically Lindsay. It was super awesome. And Nora and Monica, they had their fight. Love is always not what you think it is. It's not. They had their fair share of arguments, they had their fair share of fights, but we helped them to, they broke up at one point, but we and Justin pair up, team up to get them back together, and they're back together. That was super awesome. and all the couples that we help to get together, that we help to get married, and we have their picture at the end of the book as a special scene. We get them back together to see where they have been. Some people who are divorced and getting married again with children, they have problem with bonding with their children. We saw one dad having problem with their children, like they can't bond with their with him, with his daughter, stepdaughter. So we help them with bonding with their stepdaughter, and in different ways we explore relations, marriage, and everything. This book is really a happy book, but also it hits some sad point, but we can make everything right at the end with a little touch of love. And I absolutely love. I can go on and on. You will talk about love interest. We'll talk about all the different couples, all the different places, all the different incidents, all the different things that happen throughout the book. Everyone is cute. Every single incident is super awesome. Our main character is super awesome. How she handles everything. This book is, well, by far one of the best books. Like every time I say this is the best book, this is the best book, but really for its genre, it's I can read it again. Well, I and the ending is perfect. You get the perfect last diamond scene as the last intimate romance scene with your one love interest, and then you get to have them by your side, and you say one day you're perhaps gonna get married with them. So that's a some book ends with maybe no conclusion, like Passport to Romance. I thought maybe there would be something more toward the end. You're gonna have a special scene with your love interest and maybe a commitment you're gonna share with your love interest that never happened in that book. But this book is perfect. It has a balance that most of the book don't. And I really love the ending. Really love everything about this book. Thank you guys for listening in. Let me know in the comment section how much you agree with me. Do you share the same passions with me as this book? And of course, I have a Telegram channel that's called Pixelberry Choices Podcast. If you have Telegram, go type Pixelberry Choices Podcast, search up the channel, join the channel, and comment below. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, that's cool. You can dislike the video. And if you're not subscribed, again, please subscribe. It really helps this channel grow, and it really gives me a lot of motivation to make videos. Thank you guys for listening in. I will see you in another video. I'm gonna do next probably the bachelorette party. That was also suggested by some of you. So thank you guys for listening in. See you again. Stay safe. And if you haven't read the book and if you made this far, then I would really suggest you go back and read the book. You have read it? I didn't hear it. Oh, you did? Read it again. I'm gonna do the same thing, because you know what? I really like the book. Really, I do. Okay, bye.